Hey, what's up, my friends? John Hiley here with Tactical Dent TX, bringing to you today a vehicle that we are going to be doing a push to paint on. And this is an insurance job for one of my clients. We actually fixed the hail damage on her vehicle last year, but you can see, look how smashed in the bedside is. It moved everything out of line. It crunched the bottom part there with the bumper. And we're going to be peeling all of this back and taking a look inside. This is one of them deals where it's a lot like an iceberg. The damage, a lot is underneath the panel here. And we're going to be pulling everything apart. This is a massively deep dent. Very thin and flimsy sheet metal here to work with. So unlike a lot of European cars, this Ford Maverick is just a thin, light vehicle. And you can kind of see here in the light all the way down at the bottom, all the little buckles, all the little pressure points. And a lot more of this is going to make sense, including this huge crack that's up here at the top. You can see it split the paint wide open. And that's one of the primary reasons that we are going to just be doing a push to paint on this. There's also some cracks that we found as we begin taking off the taillight and the bumper cover and all that. There's things that are cracked in between, right there, down there at the bottom. I don't know if you can see that. I'm going to zoom up on it. Look at that. Paint's broken there. A lot of little things going on under here that we're going to be contending with throughout this entire repair. And you can see again, cracked paint. Nothing we can do about that. And then right there is one of the huge issues that we're finding there is that support is bent, and so is the one right underneath this part. So the front support and the rear support are both damaged. We got cracks right here on the edge where the taillight goes in. So a lot of paint damage that was, under the taillight and under the bumper cover. And also some paint damage up there at the top of that real tight crown. And so here we go. I'm going to go ahead and jack the vehicle up. So it's one of the things I had my R&I tech strip everything down, take everything apart. And I kind of wish I would have just told him to leave the tire off, but oh well. I'm going to go ahead and take the tire off now and get us a lot of room to get underneath there and start straightening things up. All right, got the big boy impact gun on here. That is the DeWalt impact gun. The big boy that's designed for larger application like these lug nuts. Then you can see also I recently bought a floor jack. And I went over to Lowe's. I was going to go to Harbor Freight or something like that, or maybe the Mac Tool guy. But I went over to Lowe's, and they got this DeWalt jack. And, man, I love this thing. It is heavy duty. It's not a mobile deal, but it is heavy duty. So you can see everything buckled, tilted, all kinds of fun stuff going on there. And so this is where we're going to welcome in Thor's hammer. I literally did a reel the other day, and somebody commented that Thor needs a bigger hammer. You know what? This hammer's fine. This is a dead blow hammer, by the way, and it is a decently heavy rubber hammer, so I don't got to worry about damaging anything that you're hitting with it. But it also has weight behind it that it'll actually be able to move some of this metal. And you can see a ton of movement going on right here. There's actually a couple strikes right there. You see how it's bowing all the way back out? Not to mention, you can also see, guys, that crack up there underneath the wheel well. So there's a crack right up there underneath the lip. And also, guys, one of the things that I did, I had the body shop at the end. You'll see after they spray it once I finish the push to paint. But one of the things that they did is they also sprayed underneath. All right, so here you go. I'm actually using this hammer very gently. These aren't super hard hits. Now, just like many of my tutorials, I really toned this down to where Yes, you can hear a little bit going on, what's happening, but if I was to keep this anywhere near full volume, there would be no way that you could hear me speaking. So I got it cranked way, way down. Now I'm dollying at the bottom because the bottom actually does a lot when it comes to lining up the edge. So when you hit the bottom of something or the edge of a panel, you can actually dolly up a low that is on that edge. And so we're doing a little bit of all that. I'm just trying to see what will move, what will flow out. There you go, big old sweeping movement right there. But the truth of the matter is, until I start getting some of these deeper pockets out, this thing is going to fight me tooth and nail throughout the whole repair. You know, I had parts of the panel buckling, all kinds of fun stuff going on doing this one. But you know what? I'm telling you guys, this is what separates the men from the women. And actually, I should not say that. We got great women technicians like Crystal Elson out there, and a gal named Yolanda, Robert Castillo told me she was one of the better techs, hail techs that he's ever met. But y'all know what I mean. Y'all know what I mean. Okay, and this is me just using the back of that hammer because it fits in there perfectly. It's got a rubber edge, but you got to be very careful that you don't buckle the edge out, because when you buckle the edge of these panels, there is an opportunity to crack the edge, and then it would just give the guys more body work to do later. Now, one of the things that I want to tell you, if you ever do repair work like this, where there is some, look at that. Now, that's my sledge. That's got duct tape on it, by the way. So it's got a Gorilla Tape on the end. So that's my big boy sledgehammer. I bought that from an antique mall. So the thing's probably 100 years old. Okay, so here we go. Now I'm bending that out, bending that brace, bending that bracket out. And what I wanted to say earlier is, if you ever do a repair like this, make sure that once you get the dent out that you can fit everything back on it. So it's critically important that not only you dolly it out, but you fit it. And also, one of the things that I did was I stripped down the other side, the taillight out of the other side. And, of course, the bumper was off. And I made some measurements. So you want to do measurements on the inside of the taillight pockets. You want to measure anywhere that was completely out of line. You want to find a way that you can measure it and make sure your measurements look good. So when you do go to reassemble it after the paintwork's done, you don't have any surprises that are going to cause you trouble. And here we go again. I'm just taking that out. And I don't know if you guys can see that, but down there towards the bottom of that panel, there's a straight line. It's actually got a little bit of a scuff on it. You can see a little bit of a black line. Thankfully, I looked at the other side, because when I first seen this all buckled in, I thought that was some sort of weird crown, or it was pressed against something on the inside. So you want to spend a lot of time looking on the inside. This is the big wood hail rod, by the way. The big wood. Oh man, that did not sound good, huh? That is what she said, right? I deserve that one, guys. Y'all can have a "that's what she said" here on me. So now you're going to see me. I'm using the green Anson tip on the end of this big wood rod. That's what she said. And I am really gathering up a lot of metal here. These dents, it's like you just got to start somewhere. You got to start gathering up some metal. When the metal is this thin and everything's buckling in and out like you're seeing right here, I mean, this is a lot to contend with. Thankfully, I had a lot of money on this repair with it being an insurance job. And I was able to really put the amount of time and effort into it. And I got paid for that amount of time and effort, because a lot of times, you find yourself getting into these large dent removals. And if you want to compare them to, hail damage money, how much you make doing hail damage, or how much you make doing smaller dings, you usually end up getting the short end of the stick. Things are starting to change, though. Things are starting to change out there. Insurance jobs are coming in. I always say these jobs are worth it as well. No matter how nasty they are and how bad they treat you, they do make you into a terrific technician when you tackle things like this, and you can actually get it out, stabilize it, and it works. So you can see here me making these pushes. I mean, some of this is very easy to move, and some of that metal that's under tension is very hard to move. And you guys are going to see here in a moment the type of weight that I'm putting behind these pushes, because you're not really seeing arm pushes here. You are seeing, what you're seeing here is my whole body leaning up against that carbon fiber rod, praying to God that it will not break. I've never broke a carbon fiber rod, but I know people that have, and apparently it's not pretty when that happens. Okay, now you see, it's almost like I'm rowing a boat, right? Row your boat gently down the stream. Yep. So, but you can see my whole body is leaning into that, getting these type of pushes. And look, if you didn't notice, the whole bottom is just still all rippled up and nasty as can be. I just wanted to get this top leveled out because I knew everything was going to be stabilized by me taking the deepest, largest part of the dent and working that out first. Here you go again. Right here's an example. This is my body weight that I'm using. You don't see my arms pushing this. Occasionally you do. If I find a spot where I can push it, where I'm getting some good pushes, I will use my arm. But most of the time, I was leaning my body up against it. Okay, and now that you see the damage, a lot of it is up into this crazy game of connect the dots that I'm playing right now. I'm actually able to go in and do the crown work. So I started off with a peak firing pin, and now I'm switching to this broader knockdown. This is the twin sister of the green tip that I was pushing with. The smaller twin sister, the pink tip that Anson has. And this has quickly became one of my favorite knockdowns for crowns, for wide crowns. So I go in and grab the dead-on dents firing pin for pinpoint precision. And then I will switch it out with the pink knockdown. I don't even know what they call this tool. I mean, think if you called up to Anson's or you found it on their website, it's just it's a pink tip. And this was actually designed for smaller diameter tools as a replacement of the soft tip. And so is the green one that I'm using right now to push with. But they both work phenomenally as knockdowns, bringing the crowns down. So here we go again, in there still working the top part of the damage. Just pushing it. And there we go. Now, a majority of this repair, needless to say, I'm sure you guys heard it early on, but I kept my the heat gun over there that's on that cymbal stand. I kept that on this repair for a lot of the time while I was pushing it out, just because I did not want to break any additional paint. Now you see me going towards that nasty deep one right there at the bottom of the right there at the bottom near that body line. Just pushing it, and you can see the whole panel is just buckling in while I'm doing this. Now this is where a little bit of wisdom comes in, because I've been doing this long enough to know that, hey, if I start working my way around this thing and get each of these particular pockets of dents stable, little by little, this thing will eventually stop wheel canning. So now I'm going towards the bottom part of the panel, and it'll stop oil canning, and we will be good to go. And I always call that getting it in the rough. So what I'll normally do is I'll spend part of a day on a repair, and I'll get it in the rough. And for me, what that means is that, yes, it looks rough, but it's doable. Like, I know that it's fixable. Because there's a certain point in some of these repairs. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I already had a panel picked out. I found a panel that I could have replaced this thing with if this didn't work out. And so I was already had a plan B. And what's really good if you have a plan A, plan B, because if you don't have a plan B, then plan A doesn't work out, then you don't get any money on these repairs at all. And so, and I can't pay to run a business working half a day on something for it not to pan out and, pay the bills around this place. All right. So here we go, guys. Starting to get some stability in it. You're not seeing the whole repair from start to finish, but I just wanted to go through some of the key areas. And now this is me going up, in, and through and getting this other double body line hit out. This was tough. I mean, I went in and hammered it, all kinds of different stuff. Now I'm just trying to push it with the tool. All right, you guys can see now, it's although it looks like ripple shit, it is starting to come out. Like, I am confident now that this particular area is doable. And you guys will see as we go throughout this repair, I will switch from that green tip that kind of replaces the soft tip, and I will get into a very sharp Zircus tip. And I mean, if you could imagine, this is thousands of little connected dots all across this thing. And now you can see I'm actually hammering the backside of this thing out. I know it looks gnarly, but trust me, it is working out. I will tell you, though, I did end up cracking the paint just ever so slightly on this particular area. Just ever so slightly, I ended up cracking the paint. But since we were going into body repair, it wasn't a big issue. And the truth of the matter is, the only reason I did crack the paint is because, you're a little more ballsy when you know that you're going to paint it. So I didn't have the heat gun directly on it while I was pushing it. So here we go. And I actually, so I've got these flat rods, pick tools that was able to slide in up there at the top of the bedside. So that's how I was accessing that up there at the top of the bedside. I've got these Anson Tequila pick tools that are amazing. And you see now I'm using a very sharp knockdown. This is the VIP tip on the end of a zero gravity knockdown. And I'm pinpoint precision hitting that bad boy with them knockdowns. You guys can see I don't jump in here and edit this stuff. Y'all are just getting raw exactly what it is, what I'm doing here. If I say something wrong, I'm just going to keep on rolling. Y'all are cool. I ain't worried about it. And you know what? You guys are getting all this value for free. So guess what? I'm just happy to be real with you and talk you through this type of repair. So little by little, y'all just see it. You see the holes getting smaller. Little by little, you see them tiny little ripples getting smaller. And now I'm actually in there with the Pee-wee knockdown, which is the sharper tip. Not the sharpest, but the sharper, second sharpest tip when it comes to the Dead on Dent, Peak Plastic Knockdown Series. All right, you guys see I'm still cranking, still getting all kinds of movement on that entire panel. But little by little, you're going to see me tighten it up. Some of the worst parts of this I had to contend with was back into this curve that you see me knocking down right here. Because I had to kind of reshape that curve to its original. Because it kind of flattens out and then it curves right there along that line. And you've got to come at it from the exact opposite direction like I am right here, from the front looking through the back, and just continuously blend that bad boy out. There's a lot of back and forth with this, a lot of coming in from this angle, doing my knockdown work. But now you guys can see, look at this, little by little, it's just getting better and better and better. I had to blend the holy crap out of this big old bow that was right here in the middle of the panel. I mean, I just went to town on this thing with this tactical blending hammer. Just so you know, these things are coming back. So a lot of people, let's just say it's been coming back by popular demand. A lot of people want them. Now look at that. Look how you're starting to see a nice transition here. You're starting to see that doggone thing blend together. Now look at this. So this right here is before going to paint. This is before going to paint. Now I took it into the paint. I said, hey, here's the areas you got to block out. Here's the areas you got to go in with. This is after taking it into paint. So this is the paint job afterwards. And I'm just going to tell you guys, because we did all of the work, all of the trim work, all of the assembly work. This did not cost a ton of money to have it sprayed, because all they had to do was block it down. They had about an hour and a half worth of body work on it. And that is it, my friends. There you go. Look at that. That's that top that I was working on. Right there's the sides. Right there's the body lines that I was working on. And in my opinion, for what we were working with and what this thing was, it came out really nice. And the client absolutely loved it. She's commenting all over my Facebook posts that I put up about it. She's commenting on all of them and loving it, and loving that it got done quick. This was a quick job. I'll take a look at it outside. Beautiful color match, by the way. Got to give that to my auto body guys. Beautiful color match, but they were able to blend in the middle of the panel instead of going all the way to the edge. So, all right, y'all. I appreciate you for taking the time to check out this tutorial with me and check out this push to paint. This might be something that you want to add on to your operations. And in that case, this is a great video for you. And as usual, I'll see you on the next one.